Greetings from Student Financial Aid and Scholarships. During our time today, we're going to review different aspects of financial aid, which will assist you here at UNT. We'll go over applying for financial aid and scholarships, receiving your awards, and maintaining your eligibility for that financial aid. Let's get started with the yearly estimated cost of attendance. Now, this cost of attendance is a budget that we've built to assist students in planning ahead for how much it costs to attend a university. Specifically here at UNT, this is our yearly cost of attendance. Now, the lighter areas of the cost of attendance are fees that you will certainly have to pay. You have to pay tuition, you'll pay room and board whether you're living on campus or in an apartment, and you will have books and supplies that you need to pay for. The other expenses are budgeted for you just as an estimate of what you might spend so you can plan ahead. They're not expenses that are paid directly to UNT. Now, the main thing about the cost of attendance is that is the maximum amount of financial aid a student can receive. You cannot receive more than the posted cost of attendance. Financial aid is money from the federal government, the state government, the school itself, or private resources that a student uses to meet the costs of education. As far as financial aid through the federal application, there are grants, which are need-based and don't have to be paid back, work study, which is also need-based and doesn't have to be paid back. Of course, work study is something that a student can receive, but they have to apply for the job through the Career Center. And a job on campus is not guaranteed even if you receive work study funding. It is up to the student to find that position on campus. And of course, there are loans, which are a type of financial aid a student can receive. The way to receive any of the financial aid I just mentioned is to do the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. This is an application that needs to be submitted every single year. If you are interested in attending UNT this fall 2016 semester, you will need to submit your FAFSA and use your 2015 taxes on that application. If you are interested in attending UNT for summer 2016, then you will do the FAFSA application that was for the year we're currently in, 2015-2016, and you will use your 2014 taxes on the application. Additionally, you will need to log in to your MyUNT account and complete the financial aid summer application. 2 questions. Do you want financial aid and how many hours are you taking? It's very easy to complete and information is available through financialaid.unt.edu/summer. If you are a resident of Texas but not a U.S. citizen, there could be state or institutional aid available to you. You would need to complete the TASFA, the Texas application for state financial aid. And if you have questions about this application, please email our office at untstateaid@unt.edu. As far as scholarships are concerned, we have a dedicated scholarship team as part of Student Financial Aid and Scholarships. Our scholarship application is available every year in the fall semester. It's called the General Scholarship Application. You can find more information about scholarships online. And if you have any questions about scholarships, we encourage you to email our scholarship team directly at scholarships@unt.edu. If you have applied to UNT, you have a student portal. We call this your MyUNT account. This application is your main source of communication between you and the university. When you apply, you'll use this My UNT account to check your application status and see if there's anything needed from you to make that decision. Once you have been admitted, you will use this same portal to follow your financial aid status. When you do the financial aid application, the FAFSA, there's always something you have to do on your My UNT account before we can process your financial aid. So I would suggest making a reminder once a week, maybe Tuesdays at 7:30. I'm going to check my UNT account because it's a great idea to check it every week and make sure you have everything completed, because we cannot award financial aid until all financial aid related items are removed from your to-do list. Once you have been awarded financial aid and you have accepted it, it's considered pending or anticipated aid. This means that although we haven't actually given it out yet, student accounting can see this aid as pending towards your bill. Now, anticipated aid does not include Parent Plus loans that have been denied or no application has been made on them, and it does not include college work study. Additionally, as of the fall of 2015, a federal regulation prohibits financial aid from applying to certain charges. So it's very important that you are familiar with your My UNT account and you can review your charges and your account summary so you understand where you are, because it is possible to receive a refund of financial aid and still owe a bill because there are certain things that financial aid cannot pay for. So we're going to review an example. Will this student's classes be held by financial aid? The student has a certain amount of tuition and fees. They accepted a Stafford student loan. They accepted work study, and they also accepted the Parent Plus loan. However, the Parent Plus loan was not approved, and as we previously mentioned, work study, because it is paid directly to the student, is not considered pending aid with student accounting. So in this case, the student would have a remaining balance and would need to make payment arrangements through student accounting to hold their classes. Once financial aid has been awarded, it's still a process to actually receive that money in hand. First, you have to accept your awards on your My UNT account. Once you do that, there may be other items that pop up on that to-do list that you need to complete. For example, if you have accepted federal student loans, you'll be required to do loan counseling and possibly sign a master promissory note. Approximately a week before classes, those financial aid funds are sent to student accounting to pay towards your bill with that office. One caveat to that are scholarship funds, which would disperse once you actually establish attendance in the credit hours required. Now, the question after this is, when all your financial aid is applied to your bill, is there financial aid left over? If there is financial aid left over, you will receive a refund issued by student accounting. If there is no financial aid left over, but there's still a balance, you would need to make payment arrangements with student accounting for that balance. Now, an important thing to remember about financial aid is that it is not guaranteed. Students have to maintain a certain level of academic progress to continue to receive financial aid. Dropping classes, withdrawing from classes, all of these things can have an effect on a student's eligibility for financial aid. The academic requirements to receive financial aid are called the Satisfactory Academic Progress Requirements. The first is a GPA requirement. The minimum cumulative UNT GPA required from an undergraduate student is 2.0. If you're a graduate student, it's a 3.0. Additionally, there's a federal requirement called the pace of progression. It requires that a student be making progress on their degree, and it includes every hour a student has ever taken. Starting with dual credit up to this point, students must complete 67% of all of these attempted hours. And finally, there is a federally mandated maximum hour limit. There is a point where the federal government will no longer allow you to receive financial aid because you have passed the point where it's expected for you to get your degree. However, very few students reach this point. The maximum hour limit is 150% of what it takes for you to get your degree. Generally, a degree is 120 hours, and so that maximum limit would be 180 hours. Most students don't reach this limit. However, if you have changed major several times or moved from school to school, it's important that you check with your academic advisor and review how many hours you've taken and how many hours you have left so that you do not exceed the maximum hour limit. Additionally, federal aid itself does have limits. For example, the federal Pell Grant, basically you can receive this grant for a total of 6 years, beginning the first year you got the Pell Grant, no matter what school you were at. So if you received it for 2 years at a community college, you would only have 4 years of eligibility left. Additionally, we understand that when you're doing that financial aid application, you are using tax information that is already a year old. So if something has changed in your financial circumstance since you completed the FAFSA, please come talk to someone from our office. Something that we see quite often is on the taxes. It shows that both parents had an income, and then over time, the next year, a parent loses their job. Now the student would have a much higher eligibility for financial aid, but we wouldn't know there's been a change unless you come talk to us. Additionally, students are required to put their parents on the FAFSA until they are 24, married, have their own kids, or have actively served in the armed forces. If you do not meet any of those requirements, you must put your parents on your FAFSA. The only caveat to that would be is if you're in a negative circumstance with your parents and you cannot get that information, please come talk to us and we can help you through that situation to make sure you can get the financial aid that you would be eligible for. Some important reminders are to file your taxes early as possible. Complete that FAFSA application by the priority deadline if possible, and make sure that you never pay anyone to complete the FAFSA. It is the free application for federal student aid. If you ever need assistance with completing this application, we have 2 offices located in the Eagle Student Services Center. They do the exact same thing, but we do have computers located in our second floor office where you can complete the FAFSA or receive assistance with that if you would like. Thank you for listening to this presentation, and if you have further questions, please review the information at financialaid.unt.edu/orientation.